Welcome to the Handcrafted Podcast, the business of making things. I'm Paul, founder of Philadelphia Table Company and the Handcrafted Network, and I believe great craftsmanship deserves great business strategy. This podcast is for makers who want to build not just great products, but a thriving business. Each episode will dive into the mindset, systems, and skills that turn craft into success. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Handcrafted Podcast. Hope everybody is doing well as we enter February here. 1 month down into 2026. I know I'm still sort of unburying myself. As many of you guys know, I had a baby at the end of December. So been balancing and juggling and playing the business owner and dad game. I'm sure many of you guys have kids, so know that juggle all too well. So I'm right there with you in being able to relate and get a good understanding of, you know, what it's like to manage both. It can definitely be challenging and tough, and time efficiency is really important. Also, it's super cold, the Northeast. I hope wherever you are is not super cold. I personally don't mind the cold. I'm from New England, so I like to ski and like the snow and the cold and stuff. So it's not bothering me a ton, but after a little while, it does definitely start to get to me. All right, so today we're going to talk about 4 mistakes business owners make. I've seen a lot of people making these mistakes. I have personally also made these mistakes, and I wanted to talk about them today. But first, I wanted to remind you the group is brought to you by the Handcrafted Network. What is the Handcrafted Network? It's an online community of professional and semi-professional woodworkers. So we have people who are doing this part-time. We have people who are doing this full-time. We have people doing this full-time, meaning, you know, they have employees. They have a bunch of people under them. And I like that it's a group of professionals because there's no trolls in this group that's attracting sort of the best people around, and everyone genuinely wants to help each other, which is absolutely amazing. We've had some really great success with that lately. The group also has group calls, which is amazing. There's one-on-one coaching where right when you sign up, you get a call with me where I kind of talk you through. I like to ask, where were you, where are you now, and where do you want to go? And I think knowing those 3 steps are really good and really helpful to put things into perspective. I also like to connect some dots. Hey, if there's anything I could help you with directly, maybe you need to talk to such and such person within the group, or maybe you need to look at this resource first. So I like to do that. The other part of it, too, is the online classroom. So there's a big resource library there, a bunch of modules that I've created. We're also working on creating a Google Sheet now of shared information. So one of the things that we're talking about for shared information is shipping. Shipping's a bear for all of us makers who make big things, especially us furniture guys. So we're going to start a Google spreadsheet of all of the vetted people that we like to work with and people we've had great success with. I would love to see you in the group. I hope you decide to join. It's a fantastic group of people. And if you're listening to this podcast and you find value here, you'll definitely find value in the group, as well as be able to provide value to the group. That's a big part of it, is making sure that you're providing as much as you're getting out of it, which is awesome. All right, so with that said, let's dive into 4 mistakes that I commonly see maker business owners making time and time again. I am guilty. I've made these mistakes as well. So I'm going to talk about the mistakes so you can avoid them and maybe realize, oh, wow, I'm about to step into this. Let's see if I can pivot and change something. Number 1 is thinking everyone is your client. So, you know, there's a little bit of there's exceptions to every rule, right? So for me, if you're new, if you're just getting started, if you're looking to just start making things for people, this may not be as relevant, but as the business grows, you're going to have to start learning that not everybody is your client. There's going to be people that are, you know, maybe rude to you or have too much of expectation or lowballing you or a pain in the butt to work with or asking you to make things that you feel uncomfortable doing. Like, you know, sometimes people aren't comfortable with a painted cabinet and maybe they only do hardwood or maybe they do only plywood. So knowing who those people are that are your client, really identifying that is really going to help you focus and hone in on what you are amazing at. I really like to go really deep with a narrow focus if you can. But with that said, those of you guys who are just starting, and I've done a lot of calls with people in the group where I've talked about this, with like, hey, Paul, you talk about niching down. Like, should I start thinking about that now? And meanwhile, they've only sold a few things here or there. And honestly, the answer is no. You don't know where your clients are. You don't know who your clients are yet. So I think it's important once you start getting going to start thinking that you are not for everybody. When I first started my business, I thought I was going to be a table company for the people. I was like, hey, I'm going to sell the best handcrafted tables to everybody, to the world. And, as the business started to grow, I started to realize, holy crap, I can't afford to do this because telling tables to the world is like a lower cost thing. The average consumer isn't going to be paying a high ticket value, so I was selling things at a low cost, and I really had to start isolating and focusing and narrowing down on who my actual client was, but it took me a little while to get there. I think there were some advantages for me being able to sell to everybody at first. I was in a lot of homes. I was sort of being known as the wood guy. If you are doing this as a part-time woodworker, you have another day job, maybe your spouse or your partner has a really good job that can support you in this. This is maybe where you can go, but if you don't if you are leaning into money, if you're leaning into this fully and you need the money and need the cash, don't restrict the clients right away. Take some time to figure out who your actual clients are, and it's going to take time. I know every business owner wants it all. They want it now, just like that 80s song or 70s song. I don't know when that song is from. But everybody wants it all. Everybody wants it now. It's not going to happen at that moment. Just know that eventually, as you get down the pipe, you're going to have to start narrowing your focus and not working with everybody. All right, number 2. I've seen so many people do this time and time again, focusing on making the actual thing and not focusing on growing the business. So, I know we're in a craft world. This is, the handcrafted podcast, right? So we care a lot about how the things are made. We care about mortise and tenon joinery or dovetail joints or a particular finish. And I've seen so many people just go so deep in the paint on making the thing and then not focusing on like growing the business, not understanding the cost analysis, not understanding how are they going to sell this thing. I know we all get wrapped up in this and we all get wrapped up in like trying to make the thing. And this has happened many times for me where, we get a big project and I go full focus into that. Just everything is like, hey, everything is make this the best project it could possibly be. And then what happens, a month later, you pop your head up for air. You go, wow, I just finished that project. Amazing. Now what? And you roll your sleeves up and you go to check your email and there's no quote request. There's nothing in there. There's not more work coming in because you spent an entire month. You spent 4 weeks focusing on that particular project. You need to incrementally focus on growing the business. You need to focus on sales. You need to focus on marketing. You need to focus on branding. You need to focus on cost analysis. You need to focus on profitability. All of these things matter as you grow. And for me, that was a big learning curve because it would just be like, and I know many of you guys have it because I've talked to you guys over and over again. You have these big sort of ebbs and flows of like big sales, and then you work. And then if you notice, while you're working, there's no sales go, and you go, oh crap, I need to find more work. And then you get more work and then you slow down, and you get more work and you slow down. So it's like this big wave of incoming, outcoming. So try to even that out. Because what's going to happen as the business grows, and for those of you guys who do have employees, what you're going to notice is that's going to really affect cash flow. That's going to affect cash projections. It's going to affect timelines, all of that sort of stuff. So don't get so focused on the product. Remember, it's a craft to build the business as well. It's not just a craft to build the pieces, right? So equally crafted. That's why I started this podcast. That's why I started the community, because I wanted to teach people the craft of running a business, of growing a business. All right. Number 3 sort of goes in line with these other things, goes in line with number 2 at least. People don't ask for help. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, or girl, or dude, or dudette, like, what are you doing? Like, you're in your garage just grinding away thinking you could figure stuff out by watching YouTube videos. Like, I know I was definitely, when I started, very ego driven. I was just like, what does this guy know? I know, there's that really funny video of Ron Swanson, or I guess he's playing Ron Swanson, when he walks around the Home Depot and they ask if he needs help, and he goes, no, I know more than you. And it's funny to me because I know I've been there for sure. And I didn't really start to see business growth, and I didn't really start to see like me breaking down walls and growing to the places that I wanted to grow to, as well as even learning the skills I needed to learn, until I had the courage to start asking people. So we need to humble ourselves. I know many of us makers are men, and men have trouble asking for help, asking for directions, all that sort of stuff. Dudes, get it together. Ask for help. If you need help, ask for help. Try to find somebody else who's doing it. Reach out to me, send me an email, join the community, ask people in the community. Find other people in this business that you can reach out to. Find mentors. Even if it's not someone that's doing exactly what you're doing, find other business owners. Create like a little local mastermind. The only way you're going to succeed is by admitting that you don't know everything. You need to treat this world, and you need to treat business as if it's like a never-ending education, because it's never-ending. I'm always learning, and all of you guys should always be learning too. There's always things you could incrementally be improving on, and you don't even know what those things are that you could be improving on until you ask for help and you say, hey, this is the problem I'm dealing with. How do you handle it? Or I am doing this. I don't know what my next steps are. How do I get from here to here? You got to ask for help, guys. Like, get your head out of your butt and go and ask for help. Whatever it is. I know there's a ton of Facebook groups out there. I'm a part of a bunch of them too, like the cabinetry pricing group and the woodworking group and all of these sorts of things on Facebook. That's a great place to ask for advice, but no, there's a bunch of trolls there. They're going to give you stuff, or they're not going to give you the proper information. So make sure you're finding people that genuinely support you, genuinely encourage you, and want to help. Everybody wants to help. I love helping. To me, this is, it's one of the reasons why I've done this. It feels good to help. I love when people ask me questions or send me emails or anything. And by the way, if you do want to get in touch with me about that, paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. Feel free to reach out to me. I've been talking to a lot of guys. You could also send a DM into my socials. I've been talking to a lot of people that way as well, trying to help as much as I can. But don't be afraid to ask for help. With that said, last but not least, this is the number one thing I see so many people not doing, whether you're a huge company, a small company, single person running a company, running part-time, is you don't trust anybody but yourself. This one, I know it stings. I know I hit many of you guys in the heart when I said that, because we all know that's our fault. That was my fault too when I was starting to grow the business. Is I was micromanaging. I was just like, hey, you're doing that wrong. You're cutting that wrong. You're sending that email wrong. You're doing this wrong. And what happened is it was so time consuming in my brain, and it doesn't allow you to grow the business. So from the first step, if you're just a single person, it's like being able to trust people to do your website, being able to trust people to help with marketing, being able to trust people to do your taxes and your accounting. And like, all of us as makers are inherently like do-it-yourselfers. Like, we're all like, we can figure it out. But like, you can't figure it out everything by yourself. You can't be a master of everything, right? It's better to double down on the thing that you're really good at, and then either hire or connect with the people that you can trust, that you need to now start putting trust in. Of course, there are bozos out there that if you put trust in them, they're going to drop the ball. But like, as I grew my business, and for those of you guys who have employees too, like, you need to really trust these people. You need to, you're hiring them for a reason, right? If you hire someone and you don't trust them, you hired the wrong person. You need to be able to let go. You need to be able to step away. You need to be able to say, hey, I trust you to do this. And if they make a mistake, so what? It's a learning lesson. So a big situation that happened for me was we had a big expensive piece of stone, and our team dropped it by accident, or as we were moving it. I was actually even a part of it. As we were moving it off of a table onto something else, it split in half. And it's like a $4,000 piece of stone, which is not, it didn't feel good. But at the same time, it's like, what else can I do? All I can do is just laugh about it. I'm trusting these people to, make amazing products, to represent the company. And it's like, you make a mistake, we learn from the mistake. What did we learn from that mistake? We learned to not carry marble in this particular way. We're never going to do it again. I know that that's never going to happen again. So the only way to really trust people is to actually physically step away. Some of my private clients, who are like trying to grow their business and like, maybe they have 3-4 employees. They're trying to get systems and processes in place. Usually what I tell them to do is to take a week off or take some time away from the business and assign people projects to do and see what happens. Just sort of step away. And I've learned, and I've talked about this in other podcasts before, is like as you give more people and as you give employees and other people like more responsibility, you start to see them work with like a prouder chest. They go, oh wow, he trusts me to do this. You know, he trusts me to carry this out, this task in such and such a way. And also, if you put trust in people too, you start to learn that maybe you don't know everything. Going back to the ask for help, maybe they know a better way of doing it. So you have to help. You have to ask for help. Number 3, and number 4, you have to trust people. You have to trust employees. You have to trust outside vendors. You have to learn how to let go. You know, you're not the only person who knows how to do a dovetail joint. You're not the only person who knows how to do a Morrison tenon. You're not the only person who knows how to do, a particular finish, right? Train these people, train them, teach them, work with them to the point that you can trust them. All right, guys, I hope this was helpful. These are 4 mistakes that I know I made, and I'm sure many of you guys are making. If you're caught up in these and you need a little bit of help, refer to number 3, ask for help. You could send me an email, paul@thehandcraftednetwork.com. If you're looking for a network of other makers who are also doing it, making the same stupid mistakes, the Handcrafted Network is for you. I have a link below in the podcast notes and in the YouTube comments. So check that out. It's been really great, doing this podcast and connecting with all of you guys. So stay dusty, stay busy, and I'm here for you guys. All right. Peace.